Good morning, and welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for stepping back in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to see what I have to say. I promise y'all, for real, it truly does mean the world to me. But with that being said, you know what we're talking about today, Quant Network, okay? So today we're covering Quant Network and their partnership with the Bank of International Settlements working on the project called Project Sela, okay? This project was pretty big. You had players like Clifford Chance, the Bank of Israel, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, FIS, M10, go back, watch my other videos, M10, and also the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub, okay? This first video is coming directly from them, you guys, okay? Talking about Project Sela. Follow me on this because you already know all roads lead to what? Quant Network. Come on now, follow me. Here we go. This first video coming directly from the Bank of International Settlements, Project Sela.
Central bank money forms the core of our global monetary system, offering a foundation of safety, neutrality, accessibility, and integrity. As economies become increasingly digital, central banks are considering the possibilities and challenges of a retail central bank digital currency, or CBDC. But designing a well-functioning retail CBDC system is not a simple task. While the central bank will play a critical role in operating the core of the system and ensuring sound and secure payments, payment needs of the general public are diverse and constantly evolving. One way to meet this demand is through a vibrant community of intermediaries who, through open competition, can provide innovative and accessible payment services and handle the large operational burden of customer-facing activities. However, increased access and a greater number of intermediaries could heighten exposure to cybersecurity threats. For CBDC as a critical financial market infrastructure, cybersecurity is essential. With all this in mind, Project Sela tests the feasibility of an accessible and cyber-secure CBDC ecosystem through hands-on building of a proof of concept that is conducted through the lens of policy, legal, cybersecurity, and technology. The ecosystem is designed to maximize access to CBDC for users and payment service providers, while also minimizing the associated cybersecurity risk through preventative architecture design. The project also aims to preserve the desirable attributes of cash and capture the benefits of digitalization. Sela is a joint experiment between the BIS Innovation Hub Hong Kong Center, the Bank of Israel, and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. It is also supported by private sector partners FIS, M10, Clifford Chance, and Checkpoint Software Technologies. The main participants in the Sela architecture include a central bank that operates the CBDC platform and RTGS system, funding institutions that manage customer deposits and ATMs, a new type of intermediary called an access enabler that provides CBDC services and all other customer-facing operations, and end users, any entity with retail payment needs. Access enablers play a critical role in increasing access to CBDC services, developing innovative CBDC payment solutions, and intermediating between the central bank and end customers. A defining attribute of these enablers is that they never hold customer funds. This distinguishes them from intermediaries commonly seen in today's systems, where intermediaries need to hold liquidity or client funds on their balance sheet. Consider, for example, an end user named Alice paying with a credit card to a merchant. The funds go from Alice's bank account to her card issuing bank, to the merchant's acquiring bank, and finally to the merchant's bank account. The value transfer isn't instant, and intermediaries need to take possession of the funds or hold liquidity against their commitments along the payment chain. This imposes costs that are often passed to the end user. In Sela's architecture, messages move between participants, but CBDC ownership moves instantly and directly between Alice and the merchant, settled on the CBDC ledger. Since access enablers don't hold customer funds, this may lower the barrier of entry for providing CBDC services, leading to a more vibrant and competitive payments ecosystem. At the same time, this increased access should not come at the cost of greater cybersecurity risks. Sela's architecture attempts to minimize cybersecurity risk by preventative design, paying special focus on careful storage and transmission of user data, authentication and authorization methods that create strong and flexible communication channels, and a risk-oriented redistribution of programmability. Project Sela demonstrates that an accessible CBDC ecosystem does not necessarily come at the cost of greater cybersecurity risk. Access to CBDC can be supported by a novel type of intermediary called an access enabler that, through lower barriers of entry, can increase the competition and innovation in payment services. Sela's findings show promise that with careful preventative architecture design, cybersecurity risks can be mitigated.
See? What I tell y'all, this stuff is a big deal. And you saw M10, you saw all the players that I've been talking about in my videos, a part of Project Sela. I hope I'm saying that right, but I'm gonna keep on saying it the way because that's the way I see it. Anyway, here we go. So the next video is coming from my boy, Mind Crypto. Okay, so I hope you don't think it's just Project Rosalind. I hope you don't think it's just Project Sela. There's so many projects. There's Project Helvetia, there's Project Hamilton here in the US. There's so many projects that Quant has his hand in with the Bank of International Settlements, okay? So my boy Mind Crypto is getting ready to go through just a few of them. Follow me on this, you guys. Follow me because you already know all roads lead to who? Quant Network and the Overledger, okay? People don't realize Project Rosalind, that was the blueprint for everyone to then adopt and follow. Follow me on this.
There's now 6 CBDC frameworks by the BIS inspired by Quant, Overledger, SATP, Rosalind, Bank of England, Unified Ledger, the BIS, Sela, Hong Kong and Israel, EKRW, Bank of Korea, eTenge, Bank of Kazakhstan, eShekel, Bank of Israel. All these share one thing in common. They all utilize API architecture model for their multi-layered CBDC platforms. This was first proved feasible at full scale with Project Rosalind, where they used Quant's Overledger to enable the API calling across platforms. Shortly after, the BIS had concluded the Unified Ledger framework, which connects tokenized money and assets onto a single shared ledger. Once again, the connectivity is done through API communication and shown in the graph below, which we're going to look at. Next, we saw the first ever CBDC project creation inspired off a former CBDC. This, of course, is Project Sela, which takes much inspiration from Project Rosalind and would set precedent for CBDC adoption of the framework Rosalind showed. Then with time, we saw this progressively scale as we now see the central banks of Korea, Israel, Kazakhstan, all adopting this framework in their own respective CBDC architecture. There is next to nothing in crypto of this scale. Very few can hold a candle against the level of utility and adoption that Quant has brought to the world of enterprise and standardization. And we saw that at the start with Gilbert talking there. Again, that brings me goosebumps. We are watching the transition of money flow into blockchain, all thanks to Overledger. These aren't just random showcases of Overledger SATP, but rather these are some of the biggest players in finance, being central banks showing that they are going to be using the exact framework and standards set by Quant. It's not just CBDCs either, but the Unified Ledger has been a model that's been gaining some traction since its launch in June 2023. This model ensures of interoperability across different financial systems and platforms. The fact it was released just 2 weeks after Rosalind shares distinct features such as API layers for communications says all you need to know. Project Rosalind opened the door to what we see now as the next evolution of CBDC architecture, and we can see it all here. The API gateway in eTenge. We've got it here with Sela. We've got the Rosalind project that set it all off. We've got the eShekel, which is the API layer here. We've got the E1, which is the Bank of Korea plans to create a unified ledger for tokenized asset settlement. So this is absolutely massive. I am so...
Did you guys just see all of that? Did you guys just see all of those international projects that Quant is associated with? Man, this is insane, literally, okay? But if you think that's it, no, you know I'm getting ready to tie Quant Network directly to it all. Follow me on this. Quant Network is something that is spectacular because it is truly building out the financial infrastructure for Web3 on top of building out all interoperability of Web3, which makes Web3 and Web2 run seamlessly together. This is a huge deal, you guys. Follow me on this, okay? But here we go. Quant Network and how they are tied into all of these CBDCs and API layers and all of these wonderful things, okay? Follow me. They are the GOAT. People will one day wake up and realize how incredible of an opportunity Quant Network is in 2024. Follow me on this.
There's been a lot of theory done on CBDCs, there's been a lot of economic analysis, but this was the first time they're actually testing it with real applications, real payments, and real use cases that represented what people and businesses use. Project Rosalind's objectives were for the Bank of England and the Bank of International Settlement to understand what a CBDC means for banks, institutions, payment organizations, and fintechs in a real-world setting. We actually created a new form of money. We were able to create a new form of escrow, a digital escrow. We saw firsthand participants like the Central Bank of Canada, Amazon, Barclays, MasterCard use this innovative escrow technology that we built to create new types of payments and new types of flows.
Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are digital forms of cash. Many central banks are exploring the use of CBDCs to buy goods and services in shops and online. Project Rosalind from the BIS Innovation Hub London Centre and the Bank of England is testing how APIs could enable retail CBDC payments and support innovation. The project builds a prototype of this API. APIs define how systems should talk to each other. The prototype connects central bank ledgers with private sector service providers. It experiments with API functionalities that would enable providers to develop applications. These applications would help individuals and businesses to manage their CBDC balances with the central bank and make payments to each other in shops and online. Working with collaborators from the public and private sectors, the project explored many CBDC use cases. Some use cases tested integration with existing payment systems, some tried new ways to make payments, and some tested applications with emerging technology. The project explored how the API prototype could support private sector programmability. For example, after placing an order, a customer could agree to put away a certain amount of CBDCs so that a merchant could have certainty that the customer will be able to pay. Programmability could also allow payments to be triggered when agreed conditions are met, so that consumers would only be charged when their orders are delivered. The project also tested a privacy model that would not give the central bank access to users' personal data. The Rosalind experiment shows that the API prototype could support many different use cases and could work with different central bank ledger technologies. It could connect the central bank, service providers, individuals and businesses to create an ecosystem. New ways to make payments could be added as the ecosystem continues to innovate. Project Rosalind, building API prototypes for retail CBDC ecosystem innovation.
Now y'all see that. Y'all see how Project Rosalind literally is the blueprint. It was the infrastructure for all of these other places to then adapt, put in place, and then test, which has been being done for the past few years. Now we're at the place and we're past testing and we're past beta. We're literally at go live. Think about it. LACchain is already live in 12 countries being pieced up to the United States, okay? The digital pound is that close to being a thing. The digital euro is that close to being a thing. These are things that are literally being put in place 2024, 2025, because we have global standards, okay? Don't forget ISO 222. That's that global standard for that sending money messaging. You know, that's basically Web3. Follow me on this. You have TC ISO TC307. Come on, you guys. Follow me on this, y'all. Follow me. And these things are being deployed. These things are being laid, just like the real-time growth settlement. Go back, watch one or two of my videos. I talk about that. That system is being upgraded in 2024, June 2024. These things are going live in 2024. Now think of 2025, 2026, 2027, onboarding of major government organizations and corporations around the world. Follow me on this, what I'm saying, because TC307 is the standard for building on blockchain, the standard that Quant Network created. Come on. And then built the Overledger based off of the standard. So then Overledger became the standard. Follow me. They safe, secure transfers of money and data anywhere around the world instantly. Overledger gives everyone that capability to do that. Follow me, you guys. This is no joke. But again, until next time, thank y'all for tuning in and thank y'all for tapping in. And y'all already know. Peace out.